We've all had to negotiate something before. Whether you were buying a car, negotiating a salary, or trying to get a discount when you were traveling overseas, but now how exactly do you get that to go in your favor without having to push for it? What's going on, guys? It's Alistair here from The Swayer, and in this video, I'm going to show you a couple of really quick psychological tips to help you get people to say yes. And if you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button because I'm going to be helping you ace just about every interaction that you have with people. So with that, let's get right into it with number one. It's about taking the perspective of the other person. Now, you see a lot of people go into a negotiation thinking about everything that they want to gain from it. Then they try to convince the other person by speaking about the benefits that they would gain as if the other person is supposed to be equally interested in the same things. And yeah, that might work really well, except for one little problem. They're kind of not the same person. So the things that you might want or that you might value from negotiation could be very different to what the other person wants. So the first step is to put yourself in their shoes and try to understand their perspective of it. And now a study run by Professor Adam Galinsky, he wanted to see the kind of traits that would help people actually close a deal. So he ran a study where he had a group of students broken down into 3 groups to try and negotiate the sale of a gas station. So the first group, which is a control group, they were told to just go in and negotiate a sale. The second group, which is the empathy group, they were told to think about how the other person was feeling. And then the third group, which was the perspective group, they were told to think about what the other person was thinking. And what they found was that the first 2 groups closed the deal 39% and 54% of the time. But the perspective group, they killed it by closing a deal 76% of the time. So when you're going into interaction, think about what the other person is thinking. What do they stand to gain? What do they value? And what do they stand to lose from the negotiation? And is there a way for you to connect the dots between what they want and what you want? So it's a win-win. And then number 2, we've got the door in the face technique. And this one sounds exactly like it speaks. Now look, I'm not telling you to literally slam the door in the faces of people you meet, but you kind of want them to do that to you. What I mean is that this technique works by first making a huge request that the other person is most likely going to refuse, and then you compromise. You be nice about it, and you say something like, alright, I understand. Well, could you at least do... And he asks for a smaller request instead, which is actually what you wanted in the first place. But because you were nice and you compromise, it triggers this thing called the reciprocity effect, which is that when someone does something nice for us, we feel this primal urge to do something nice back for them. So by compromising, you're making the other person think, well, hey, if they were nice and compromised, the least I could do is meet them in the middle. And it makes them more likely to say yes to your compromise, even though the fact is that compromise is what you actually wanted in the first place. So let's say you were negotiating your salary, or you're asking for a few days off work. Ask for more than you need. Be like, hey boss, my family's coming down for the week. Could I have next week off work? And when they shut you down for that, follow up with, alright, well in that case, could I just at least have 2 days off before the weekend? Which is what you actually wanted in the first place, but by asking for more than you need, you can now compromise to the thing that you actually wanted. And it makes it more likely for them to say yes. And number 3, it's to do with your body language. So there's this thing called proxemics, which is the study of how we use our body language in terms of the physical space we take up. And now what they found is that when someone says something that we like, we tend to lean in and we tend to close the space between us. While when someone says something that we don't like, we tend to lean back and pull away from it, increasing the space between you and the person you're speaking to. And now while that happens automatically, you can actually use that to your advantage when you're negotiating. And you do that by sub-communicating to the other person that you either do like or that you don't like certain things that they're saying. So what you want to do is that when you start the negotiation, lean in slightly from the very beginning so that you're starting off on a positive note. And as soon as they say something you don't like maybe they mentioned the price and you thought it was a little bit too expensive, just take a step back or just lean back a little bit, pull away and go quiet for a few seconds. It'll seem like you're just thinking about it, but your body language and the silence will sub-communicate that you were unhappy with what they said. And what it does is that it induces a mild sense of panic in people. Especially with the added silence, what a lot of people would do is they'll try to get rid of the tension. So they will end up negotiating with themselves to get you a better deal. It's like as soon as they notice you pulling away, they might be like, oh, but if you buy now, we'll even throw in this or that. They might say whatever they can just to get you back to a positive state because they think that they're losing you. And to take things a step further, in a longer negotiation, you can actually use this as a form of positive or negative reinforcement. So throughout the interaction, whenever they say something that you like, lean in, look them in the eye, smile and nod, and whenever they say something that you don't like, lean back and go quiet. And what happens is that over the span of the conversation, you're positively reinforcing the parts of the conversation that you're happy with and negatively reinforcing the parts that you're unhappy with. And at the end of the day, human beings, we're quite simple creatures. We do more of what feels good and a lot less of what feels bad. So when you make someone feel good about the choices that you like, they're going to be more likely to want those same choices too. So that's all there is to it. When you go into a negotiation, start by thinking about their perspective to see how you can make it a win-win scenario. Then ask for more than you need so that you can actually compromise on what you really wanted, and then use your body language and proximity to sub-communicate the things that you like and that you don't like. And so with that, if you like this video, subscribe and share this out because we're going to be helping you ace every single interaction that you have with people. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.